Welcome to the Dowden Podcast. I'm your host, the official CRG, and today we're going to talk about why, if you genuinely want to start to change not only the habits that you have formed, but the direction your life is headed, then it is absolutely crucial for you to stop trying to force your own growth in an environment that just constantly denies it, and instead just really start to learn not only how to change your surroundings, but how to then properly stay in control of them from here on out. But before we get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. That way you don't miss any weekly episodes and posts. You can find video of this episode strictly on YouTube, but the audio everywhere else. Now, when it comes to not only changing the habits that you have formed, but the direction your life is headed, understanding that you have to stop trying to force your own growth in an environment that truly isn't going to do anything, but just simply deny it, genuinely is one of the most powerful yet most overlooked things that I think a person can learn. Because not only does your environment really play a major role on your mentality, your physical life, your decisions, the actions you make, your future. But most importantly, it evolves you into the person that you are becoming, right? So when you have a negative environment, you're then going to form a negative mentality, which then leads to negative actions, because that's exactly what was happening with me until I not only started to focus on my surroundings and truly start to change them, but then most importantly, stay in control of them from there on out. Because you see, back when I was still living in the city, and this is something that we have talked about quite a bit on this podcast, but when I was still living there, my mentality towards things, the decisions that I would make, the things that I would get myself into, truly weren't the very best. To where not only would I constantly find myself stuck in cycles, constantly getting in trouble and just doing the bare minimum, but really it was something that was just genuinely starting to take control not only over my life, but the direction that I wanted to be. Because when it comes to your environment as a whole, this is something that genuinely does dictate your actions, your mentality, what you do with your life, your future, because you're around these things 24/7, right? So for me, when I was living in the city, it was around the gangs. I was in the hood. It was around the shootings. It was around the drugs. It was around moving money, right? When we went to high school, we would just skip class and go do random stuff because that's what you did in the city. So, because of my environment, I formed this mentality where nothing mattered. I just had to make money. I didn't matter the consequences that I was going through or the things that I had to experience, as long as I was just getting my name out there and getting done what I had to. That's all that mattered. So your environment truly does influence everything that you do. And that's exactly what was happening, because like I said, instead of applying myself, taking time to educate myself, break out of the cycles, maybe be the first person to go do something else, I would follow the cycles in my environment, having it just keep me trapped and genuinely destroy not only me as a person, but the direction that I truly wanted to take. Because when it comes to forcing your own growth in an environment that's just constantly going to deny it, this is something that is just genuinely not going to do anything but just hold you in those same old cycles, destroy your momentum, your consistency, and your direction, and just truly start to take control, not only over your purpose, but just stop you from changing these things altogether. Because let's say you grew up in an environment just like I did, right? You grew up in the city. You were surrounded by nothing but negativity with people who had the bare minimum, who are making bad decisions. Of course, your life is going to be just like that because that's what you were surrounded by. Right. And this could go for vice versa. If you grew up on a ranch, you grew up in a very royal area, right? But let's say you have dreams of owning a business, moving to the city, doing this, that, and the third. You're not going to be able to thrive because your environment is holding you back. Understand that your environment and the people you have around you truly do dictate every single little thing and how your life is going to be. So if you want to change your life, you want to change your mentality, then you have to go ahead and start changing your environment from here on out. So, if you genuinely want to start to change not only the habits that you have formed, but the direction your life is headed, then understanding that you have to stop trying to force your own growth in an environment that's just constantly going to deny it genuinely is so important. Because when I sit here and tell you that it isn't going to do anything but keep you stuck in those cycles, hold you back, and take control not only over your mentality, but your actions, I truly do mean it. Because as you see with me, that's exactly what had happened until I not only started to shape my own surroundings, but then truly start to take some real control over them from here on out. So, moving forward, instead of just constantly waking up every single day or just trying to ignore the fact that your environment could be holding you back, go ahead and just make some real changes by not only focusing on the things that matter, but by truly taking some real action towards it. Start focusing on your surroundings, your environment as a whole, the people you have around you, how it has helped you shape your life. Is it holding you back? Is it helping you grow? Start taking action towards these things. Yes, maybe you might not be able to go up and just leave the state, but you can start changing how you move through it. Start focusing on your mentality and start striving for these things. Stop letting your environment hold you back. You don't have to follow trends. You don't have to be like everybody else. You have your own goals, your own journey, and your own dreams for a reason. So strive for them. Because when I sit here and tell you guys that you can truly start to change the habits that you have formed and the direction your life is headed, I truly do mean it. You just first have to stop trying to force your own growth in an environment that's just constantly going to deny it, and just really start to learn not only how to shape your own surroundings, but how to then properly stay in control of them from here on out. But with that said, today's quote is by L. Ron Hubbard. He once said, "A person is either the effect of his environment or is able to have an effect upon his environment." I appreciate you tuning in. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And this is the Dowden Podcasts.